Well, hello everyone. Welcome to our other installation for the People's Food Summit. And with me today is Rosinah Mbenya, all the way from Kenya. Hi, Rosinah.
Hi, Precious.
You're welcome to our broadcast today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, this is a World Food Day installation 2025. Rosinah is the country coordinator for the PELUM Kenya. I think Rosinah will share with us fully more about PELUM, which is a membership network organization. Currently, they have 63 member organizations that promote agroecological principles and practices among smallholder farmers and pastoralists in the Kenyan region. So Rosinah, we're very, very proud of the work that you guys are doing. And Rosinah in herself is an alumni of Leading African Women in Food Fellowship and the Agroecology Leaders Academy. She's a winner of the 3rd edition of the Women in Agriculture Award 2024. That was the first place in the category of education. So congratulations on those awards. It shows that she's not only really leading the country's networks, but she also walks the talk, and she's involved in many partnerships, including being a World Board member for IFORM. She's a steering committee member of the Ecological Organic Agriculture Initiative at continental, regional, and national levels. Rosinah, you're welcome. Please indulge us on the work that you do with PELUM, and let's just enjoy today's segment. I'm very excited about hosting you.
Yeah, thank you so much once more, Precious. Indeed, it's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to the World Food Day 2025. And I would love to start off probably by talking more about PELUM Kenya, and we'll then narrow down to the work that we are doing, particularly in the farmer-led research work. And then we can talk more. So basically, PELUM Kenya stands for Participatory Ecological Land Use Management. This is the Kenya chapter. We have other country chapters, 14 country chapters in Africa, as you can see in my presentation. And I would say we are part of the Eastern Africa, but there's also other countries in Central, Southern Africa. And as the Kenya chapter, actually now we have 69 members. We just got new entrants recently in our AGM. And our main business is to promote agroecology, the principles and the practices for agroecology. And we believe through these principles and the practices, then we are able to, if we are deepening them, then we are able to improve and sustain the livelihoods of smallholder farmers and pastoral communities within the country. If you look at this map, it shows you where we are reaching. Our network is actually reaching the whole of Kenya. And if you look at the orange, it's where we have the green is where we have the physical office location of our members, and the oranges, we may not have the physical location, but we have activities going on there because some of our members are reaching to more than one county. I would say Kenya chapter is actually the most unique chapter among all the PELUM chapters, because we are the only chapter who has decentralized our work. We have what we call the networking zones. As you can see here, we have the biggest being the Rift and Western Nyanza zone, which covers this part. The Rift and Western Kenya part. Then we have the Nairobi and Central. It has the highest number of members. It's a very small spatial area, but highly concentrated with a lot of work. It's this part of the Kenya. Then we go to the Lower Eastern and Coast all the way here. It gives us 11 members. And then finally, we have the Upper Eastern and Northern Kenya. So those are the areas that we are working. And just to summarize in that, as PELUM Kenya, why we are formed is that with our network, we believe that we can do much more than what a single NGO or an organization can do. So we bring ourselves together in numbers. And what is it that we are doing more? One, we provide room for capacity enhancement, whereby we train our members on various topical issues. And this includes even practical trainings. Actually, we have a unique model of the trainer of trainers approach, where we train the extension staff from the network, and then they are able to train the farmers. One of those success various projects like the knowledge centers for organic agriculture, where through the work that we are doing, we have been able to train like 421 multipliers. We have 7 master trainers. The master trainers train the 421 multipliers, and the multipliers, they continue to train the farmers practically and all the various subjects that the farmers want on soil health, marketing, and so on. Then we offer networking opportunities for our members. As you can see, we have the zonal networking model, but also at national level, we are doing networking. We are also doing a lot of policy and advocacy. Actually, I could say that is our strongest point, where we support and work on different policies. We also give a lot of memorandum of various policies that are going on. And we ensure that we are advocating for the rights of farmers with them, and to ensure every policy and every action that is being done is for the favor of smallholder farmers. And finally is the issue of knowledge management. Basically, we are trying to collect all the knowledge that is coming up, but also most importantly, this is the pillar that we are also doing a lot of what we call research or farmer-led research work, whereby we are also trying to encourage or ensure that researchers are working with the farmers, because actually farmers are the first researchers, if I can call it so. So I will be talking more about what we are doing on that, but that's a very strategic area for us. And these are the areas that we are interested in, or in our thematic area. We have our strategic plan. So we have the sustainable natural resource management, we have climate resilience, we have agro-enterprise and market development, and youth and women in agroecology. These are the themes that we are interested in. And basically in climate resilience is ensuring that there is increased attention on climate action. Basically, even climate justice, and ensuring that agroecology is being recognized as a climate pathway. The other part is ensuring we are responsible in the way we are managing our natural resources. Our agriculture is not affecting natural resources. And also marketing, we are looking at local markets, strengthening local markets. And then we are doing a lot on youth and women in agroecology. All these are the practices within our network, which we define as agroecology. And as you can see, for me, it's a mixture of all these practices. I would pick on organic, which is the mother of all, because with our network, we say no to synthetic inputs. But at the same time, you cannot be an organic farmer who is not concerned about the soil health. You cannot be an organic farmer who is not doing a little bit of permaculture. You cannot be an organic farmer who is not trying to really do more of biointensive agriculture. All these practices have one or two differences, but they all have advantage. Even an organic farmer, you cannot have an organic farmer who has no single tree on their farm. So we are saying, we are encouraging our network to really blend all these practices and ensure that our farmers are adopting them, because all of them, they have the advantage. So in terms of, these, I will not go through this, but also we don't work in isolation. We are networking with other networks all over the world and also in the country, but also key is to note that we are part of the Intersectoral Forum for Agrobiodiversity and Agroecology in Kenya, which is a multi-stakeholder platform. And we are also having a very strong governance system from our triennial general meetings, annual general meetings, the country board, and the zonal steering committee. This ensures that we are doing our decision in a participatory manner and ensuring that the interest of the network is still carried forward. We have, our board is basically from within our network. And then we are working with a team of 22 permanent staff. This is the team behind the work that we are doing. And we also work in strategic ways in terms of consulting or working with committees and various stakeholders so that we can move the processes. This is just a few photos from our work that we have been doing. Advocacy and policy influence. You can see various campaigns that we have led. This was in 2021 before the UN FSSS process. We did an independent dialogue here, and we send our submissions online. We also issue press statements, we do caravans, we do campaigns and all that. But these are very interesting slides. We have been advocating for agroecological policies in Kenya. And this photo is a beautiful moment when we launched the National Agroecology Strategy last year in 2024 November. And it was launched by the Cabinet Secretary. It was a very proud moment for all the stakeholders. And PELUM Kenya, we played a key role in working with the ministry and other partners to really move this process. We have also signed several MOUs, and not only the MOUs being signed, but we are working with various counties because Kenya is a devolved system of governance. So we have signed an MOU with Laikipia County to support the agroecology strategy process, and it's already ongoing. We have already the Makueni, we have supported the process. Actually, the policy is already passed by cabinet. And yeah, this was in the launch of Vihiga, and even other counties which may not be here. For example, Busia, we have been working with them. Yeah, so there are several, even Nakuru County, that we have been working with them, and we are very happy that we are able to support these counties on policies. Now, if you look at this, these are about the work that we're doing in climate resilience. In Kenya, we have 80% of the country being an arid and semi-arid land. And we are trying to work with the members to ensure that the potential of these dry lands are being realized. It's just the issue of water being available. I know this may look like unsafe ways of water harvesting, but it's just showing that the efforts farmers are really making. And if we can all support them to do even better in terms of water harvesting, they have a lot of potential to supply and be part of the food, local food. This is some work that we have also worked in Murang'a and Kiambu County, which is tea and coffee growing areas. But I can tell you these are cash crops, which have predominantly not been done organically. But I'm happy to say that farmers have recorded a lot of increased yields from coffee and even tea when they have converted to organic, and they are proudly doing it. Like you can see, this farmer is doing coffee, and this is how she also prepares compost. And this is a tea farmer who has actually, in a way, enabled the county also to transition. This farmer, I mean, when she transitioned, she recorded increased yield until the county really summoned her to explain how her tea yields were suddenly becoming too high. And she had to explain it is because she had now started doing work organically. And it has been a very good case study for us to visit her and really be part of the story. And also diversification of livelihoods, a principle we have really supported. As the network of PELUM Kenya, I can say we have contributed greatly in terms of knowledge on bioinputs. We have trained farmers, we have trained extension officers, we have trained on practical ways on which people can make their own bioinputs. And I can tell you, even some of our members have gone further to start even packaging and making business out of this, which is good. But also the most important thing is, for me, farmers being able to know how to make some of these bioinputs. These are some of the networking events that we have had. We have been hosting now for the second year. We have done the National Agroecology Symposium last year. This was the first one. This year we had over 400 participants coming from all over, and we had even over 10 counties coming to share about their work on agroecology. So it has become like a movement for us in Kenya with the National Agroecology Symposium. We are also part of the Indigenous Seed Fair. Actually, we hosted the first National Indigenous Seed Fair. Now it's being done by ISFA, and we are having the fourth one on the next week, actually on the week of the 4th day in Laikipia County. Then this is some work that we are doing on knowledge management and communication. You can see a lot of documentation. These are some of the members who are now packaging their organic fertilizers. This is one of our members' work. And these are very beautiful photo that I want to talk about. It's about the participatory action research that we have been supporting or working together with two of our members, that is C-Shape and DNRC, whereby they put groups of farmers together, and with the support from researchers from the Alliance of Biodiversity, SEAT, they are able to support farmers to do on-farm trials. And at the same time, this organization, they have their own centers where they are also doing these on-farm trials so that they can compare with what farmers are experiencing and be able to offer technical support. And one of the things that I am happy when I go to visit these projects is that farmers talking and saying, yes, now I feel like I'm capacitated. I'm also a researcher. I feel happy when I'm able to take those records and analyze them by myself and be able to make sense out of it. It really gives me joy. And one of sort of the learnings that I learned, like this farmer, this is a son. So the son is able to support the mother, and that way it also helps to build the next generation, because the youth, they can also see, I have an element that I can be able to support my family in terms of the agriculture value chain. And it also builds that interest in the agriculture. So it has been a very interesting project. And as we started with 50 farmers in Makueni, 50 farmers in Kiambu, and all of them, at the end of the day, they are also learning and deepening the agroecological practices. But most importantly is that we are looking at now a landscape approach model, whereby out of the 50 farmers, each one is going to bring on board like five farmers, so it becomes 250. And the next phase we go increasing like that. So you go closing the landscape gap, and eventually you are able to have landscapes which are doing agroecology with their own research backing. They're able to tell you, yes, this is working. This is working because for me, I tried it in this number of seasons and these were the results, So the farmers are doing it and they're happy, and also the researchers are now able to relate with what is happening on the ground. Because in the past, some research has been done whereby they are not working collaboratively with the farmers. Many people assume farmers don't know anything, yet they are the first researchers on the ground. So this is a very beautiful photo for me. But also, again, we also do a lot of more work with the agroecology hub in Kenya. I'll talk about that as soon as I finish this presentation. Now, in terms of the marketing, what we are saying is that local markets are better for the climate. They are shorter value chains. They are also helping communities to promote their cultural diets. So that's what PELUM Kenya are promoting. And these are various photos. This is a photo of us winning the Agriculture Show of Kenya in a row of 2 years. And then we are also doing a lot of work on natural resource management. We believe women should have cleaner energy. We believe also we have to take care of our ecosystem by planting and conserving more trees, and also protecting the nature-based enterprise. So this was during the tree planting the network in Mau Forest, which is among the biggest water towers in Kenya. This was in Barbadeas Forest with one of the county executive ministers. Now, as I finalize, is that we also do a lot on the women and youth. Actually, we are hosting and coordinating a very ambitious initiative called the African Women Leaders in Agroecology. This is a women leadership program which seeks to fast track, inspire the women leaders in agroecology. We have seen women being capacitated in this project. Actually, if you go online to our website and go to the publication site and get the success stories from the court of Hawala, you will see amazing stories of women. We are now in 5 countries. We have Kenya, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Malawi, and Nigeria. And we will be hosting as Women in Expo, Women in Agroecology Expo on the 22nd and 23rd of October here in Nairobi, where we bring women from all those countries and even other countries like Cameroon. We are bringing them here to share what they are doing, to motivate each other, to network, and we are hoping to create a very strong women business, because we believe for the food systems to transform, we need to have women taking a center role in the leadership. We feel like it is also a silent catalytic role, whereby women are leading at grassroots level all the way. And also we are supporting youth projects. Yeah, and then in a while we also are active in the media, talk about our work and to also push about issues. Yes, so as I finish, I want to say that I'm also an organic farmer. This is me in my urban kitchen farm, and I'm happy that I'm also contributing to my own food basket currently. So I think that's all I wanted to talk about PELUM, but I would also be able to talk about the farmer-led research work that we are doing in collaboration with the McKnight Foundation and the Agroecology Hub here in Kenya. I don't know whether.
Wow, thank you, Rosinah. This is amazing. Yeah, honestly, thank you for sharing the growth as well, Because just the other day, you guys were 63 members, and then there's like 6 more. And you would think that, 60 something is quite a lot, but there's people are still coming on board. So that's really amazing. And also like seeing that you are also a hands-on farmer yourself. What I'm realizing is most of us young, middle-aged and old, everybody now doesn't fear going to work on the land. And I feel like it's so important because then we get to walk the talk. I moved to my rural homestead in December. So so my family,
Oh,
yes, so my family and I now live in a rural homestead. And it's so nice because you're now 100% on all the lessons. I mean, I grew up rural, but then now to do it on your own when you're grown with your own children and your own family, it's a different ball game. So that means when we're talking about this, we also talk about the struggles that we know and that we are aware of, and I'm finding such joy in hearing that. And I know that you guys are also really immensely involved in farmer-led research. You say the statement that most of the times it's assumed that farmers don't know anything. Please tell me about this revolutionary work that you guys have been doing, and yeah, just unpack it for us, what it means for farmers, what it means for you as well as a woman in farming and leading such a big network. By the way, congratulations. You're
thank
definitely
you.
in the center of the big thing here. Yeah.
Thank you, Precious. Indeed, farmers actually they are the scientists and they are the researchers. I'd say that. And for me, I think this journey of participatory actions research started in 2018, whereby I was at PELUM Kenya as the head of programs, and at that point we had one of the researchers, Beth Medveki, involving us in some scoping study that was being done in Western Kenya. I particularly was with her, and during those scoping studies, our main intention was first to understand what are the challenges or what are the experiences farmers are having in Western Kenya. So we traversed Kisumu County. We also went to Homa Bay and Migori counties. And in those counties, we would meet groups of farmers and really, we had a structured way of engaging them. And we would then dig deeper to understand what are the main challenges or areas that they would that they were experiencing. And also something that we were of interest was the issue of the Tifrosia fogeli, which was a plant which was introduced in Western Kenya. And we also wanted to know how farmers are using it and what opportunity does it have beyond what we know. So this experience exposed me to a thinking that, hey, scientists can also work with farmers. Sometimes when we are learning, we feel like scientists are up there and farmers are in a different scale. So for me, actually, it was a learning experience. And after that, that did not end there. So we continued the journey. And then in around 2019, we started off with the Agroecology Anchor Hub, which is hosted at Manaus. And we were able to synthesize this results from the scoping study to really know what we were to the next areas of study. And one of the things was actually on the Tifrosia was to take these samples, because we realized there are some farmers who are saying the Tifrosia is not working to them on some aspects, and others who are saying it is working to them. And we took this to the lab in the UK, and we realized that there were effective chemotypes and there were ineffective chemotypes. And later, further, we even deepened the research and to found out there are many other uses for Tifrosia that farmers were not aware of. For example, it could be used for ticks, it could be used for brooding of chicken, and so on. Even in the farms to control like these are rodents that eat root crops and so on. So it was a very interesting study. And later on, now we continued the journey on phases. And I can say, even at some point, we were able to work collaboratively with the Manaus and try to even have some farmers recording through the phones and being able to make sense out of what is coming out, sharing, like a creation of knowledge of farmers. But also, I could say that some of the research that we have that have been done through the Agroecology Hub is, for example, soil health. Farmer research networking, like farmers being able to compare different trials. For example, Bomber compost versus Lab versus biochar, how even being able to work on them on various pests. For example, the striker weed also, which is so common in Western Kenya. And through this, actually, I was so excited when last year I visited some groups who have been working with like REFSO, one of our member organizations, and they were giving a testimony of how they have now been able to manage to be able to manage some of these challenges like the striker weeds and all that through crop rotation and so on. And I also visited a farmer where I found that farmer had grown this Tifrosia in numbers, because now, the research also informs action, it doesn't end at the research just there. The other thing is that through the Agroecology Hub, we've also been able to come up with like a biofertilizer farmer research networks, whereby the farmers are testing different biofertilizers like the bokashi, which has been so much common in the PELUM network, the Supermagro. One of the things is that the Supermagro wasn't working well, but the bokashi was very effective. And I mean, then the farmers have been able to really scale it up, and they're actually even being able to influence their neighbors. And the interest,
so to just hold you right there, I'm really like getting intrigued, because there are some of the plants that are helping in pest controls, rodent controls, tick
yes.
controls. Yeah, so when you're talking about bokashi, even here in Zimbabwe, I really would attest to say the bokashi biofertilizer is really taking root, like massively. We have lots of farmers now really exploring to say, because it introduces or reawakens the microbes in an environment. So farmers are finding lots of good use for it. So I just wanted to say, yes, I hear you. We see you, and you guys are leading in this research. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so happy that in your country that you're also having this bokashi working out for farmers. It's actually become like a magic soil health amender, and it's really working for many farmers in Kenya. Yeah, so, and I've seen the farmer research, like research work, ensuring that it is being like it catalyzes the absorption rate in terms of how farmers are taking up the technology and so on. Yeah, so I think the other areas that we even had some farmer research networks on income generation, by the way. We were able to look at how farmers are really working. Like, for example, we have some of our network members doing aloe vera, doing a cactus, we co-created and tried to even document what they are doing, and how to to even profile it for the business. And actually it helped also farmers in terms of emphasizing on the value addition, diverse products, and the marketing approaches that are suitable for various farmers. And interesting is also, I go back to the Tifrosia with the farmer-led research that we did with the Tifrosia. Manaus, which is one of our members and the host to the higher up, they have been able to start multiplication of the effective chemotypes at Manaus. They are able also to dry and process the leaves for use as biopesticides, and they have also been doing experiments of how to increase the leaf production for the control of ticks and the fleas and the poultry. So at least even some of the farmers have been able to even do research on ash brew, for example, which is also a biopesticide. And yeah, I think there's a lot of learning, and the good thing is that we also are able to even empower farmers using smartphones, so that they can also learn together. they share the information with other farmer research networks, for example, through WhatsApp. They also share their photos of their various trials and the results that are coming there from those phones. And even as we cooperate, the farmers and the researchers, another angle that has been good is that the various organizations that are part of the Anchor Hub, we started with around 28 organizations. We are able to come together every year and also co-create knowledge together and co-think about our strategies together, which is also helpful. Yeah, so, and as I conclude, the most other part of it is that through the Farmer Research Network work that we have done, it has now ended up influencing the policy, and I'm very proud that Trans Nzoia County, which was the Anchor Hub in Kitale, is now in the pipeline of doing their agroecology strategy. We are at the stage of contracting a consultant who will work with the county to develop the agroecology strategy in a very comprehensive and participatory manner. We already had these county executives or directors and the various staff involved coming all the way to Muranga County for experiential learning visits so that they can be able to see what other counties are doing. And yeah, we are excited probably in the next 1 year or so, they will be able to have the agroecology strategy for Trans Nzoia. And Trans Nzoia means a lot because, one, it's the food basket of Kenya. They actually grow a lot of maize in Kitale, and it is at the same time they have been doing it conventionally. So if we have this achievement, it will be a very great achievement. And I've seen the county being very, very willing, because also they have visited like Manaus, they have visited some of the farmers who are already part of this farmer research. So it is also like the farmer research in itself, it doesn't end on the farmer research, but also has been able to influence policy. So it's very, very interesting. I hope when you come to Kenya, you should come. I take you to some of these places. You see for yourself, Precious.
This is definitely like an invitation I won't say no to, because it's really amazing. And I mean, thinking about all the farmer research initiatives that are happening in different sections, do you have like a way of creating like a platform for core sharing all the lessons? Like you said, you take them up to help policy. And by the way, congrats on the agroecology policy.
Thank you.
And all the counties that it has been signed in. Those are landmark achievements we cannot ignore. So how are farmers learning across each other or across NGOs?
Yeah, I think one of the platforms now we have set up is the National Agroecology Symposium, where we bring farmers, we bring also the policymakers and every different categories of people. And in those sessions, we create room for, like, for example, different panels where they can share about the work they're doing. And farmers are also invited, they're able to share. But even at the county levels, we have, as I mentioned, we have been organizing those experiential learnings, and we take advantage of those areas where we have been doing this farmer research. We are able to take the policymakers there so that they can interact with the farmers, and also we facilitate our farmers to go to various policy processes and events where they can be able to showcase their work, they can network with other people, and they can share the results of the work that they have been doing. But also we are doing a lot of documentation to ensure that we document what is coming from the farmers, and also we are encouraging all our members to really adopt the farmer-led research as a methodology. And I'm happy now we have, for example, as I mentioned, we have C-Shape, DNRC, and also we have HIPMA doing a lot of farmer-led research. We have FREFSO, CREP, who are also part of the Macraid collaboration, and they are doing they are doing the farmer research networks. Yeah, but overall, we are also scaling up that within our network so that we can have more and more, because it's a model which enhances, yes, favorable policies, also enhances adoption of agroecology practices, and also enhances conversion or preaching to the unconverted. Yeah.
Nice. That's really amazing. Thanks, Rosinah. Honestly, also thank you for your leadership, because I've also experienced you in the symposium, I think the farmer-led research network gathering that was in Kisumu. That was last year, right? 2024. That's about a year ago. Yeah.
Yes, about a
Yeah.
year
So
ago.
there was a big partnership with the government, the universities, and international donors and funders. So, I mean, I think from what I've heard you say, the research approaches that are led from the ground by farmers do not only really improve the quality of farmers that we have, but it also improves the farmer confidence. The farmer
Exactly.
confidence in pushing back um, conventional farming, in pushing back farming that is unhealthy both to people and the landscape. Because once they start to see results, the results will not lie. And the notion that farmers are not scientists is absolutely not true.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, like farmers know when it's about to rain without a humidity tester. They know this year will be good or this year will be bad. They are the ancient trekkers. They know, they know most of the things. All they have needed from us and from networks and women like you is just a shoulder to say, hey, you can lean on us. We have this platform. There are people from the university, and you guys, you are equals and you have different skill sets, and now look at what you have built. I mean, it's so inspiring. And where can you guys be found? Are you on Instagram, PELUM Kenya? Where can people find you?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Actually, we are very active on social media. You
Okay.
can follow our website. We are on the website www.pelumkenya.net. You can also follow us on Twitter or X. Yeah, we are also on LinkedIn. We are on Facebook. Yeah, we are not yet on TikTok, but yes, you can find us on or follow us on those channels.
I don't know how TikTok works, so it's fine. And I think Rosinah, you're
Yeah.
on LinkedIn too. So yes, people can also follow you and really learn so much from you. I really generally appreciate you personally because you're so grounded, and the few moments that we've met to work together, and we've been lucky this whole year, last year in Kisumu and this year in Brussels. It's been really refreshing, and it's amazing to have leading women. So this is World Food Day recording. What's your message to the world on what will eventually transform our food systems? And yeah, any message that you have at all as we close off our recording.
Yeah, so I also want to recognize you, Precious. You're also doing an amazing work at Regeneration International, and I really congratulate you. We've met severally, and I can see we need more women like you in Africa who are able to push and who are able to not be cowed by anything, but are able to have these innovative ways. Even coming up with this innovative way of us talking at the World Food Day is quite commendable. Yeah, so for my message for World Food Day, I would love to just encourage everyone, even as we think about having better foods and better future. I think there's no better food without I think about agroecological foods or foods which are free from toxic inputs. So let us support all necessary efforts in the food chain to ensure that our foods are really clean, they are safe, they are healthy, they have no toxic inputs, and most importantly, let's all be custodians for our smallholder farmers because they have been feeding us, they are doing it, and most of the time we don't recognize them. Let us appreciate them even as we celebrate the World Food Day. And finally, as an environmentalist, for sure, I know that climate change is real. The climate has really been changing. So let us embrace agroecology, which is climate resilience, and also let us adopt sustainable agriculture practices because at the end of the day, I usually say people have to eat, but we have to eat in a way that takes care of the climate, makes the climate better. So the future is bright if we are all able to take our small actions and make the world a better place.
Thank you, Rosinah. You're amazing. Really appreciate you for your time. Congrats to PELUM Kenya and congrats to Africa for people like
Thank
you. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Precious. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Hello again. I'm here with Jackson Kithokilo, who is calling in from Arusha, Tanzania. Hi, Jackson.
Hi to Precious.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming and for being with us today. So, Jackson, I think we were introduced by Andre because you were part of the regenerative organic agriculture class that was being directed and taught by Andre. So, your story is amazing. You are here today to share with us some pictures. So, can you say hi to the people? And then I'll introduce you briefly.
Yeah, thank you, and good evening to everyone, or hi to everyone, because our time could be different. And Precious, really much for reaching out to me. I really appreciate also much to Professor Andre. Attending his lesson and training, though virtual, on regen agroecology and Gonak was one of the best moments of my life. And yeah, basically, this is Jackson, based in East Africa. As I say, I could be more of an East African citizen, Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda. I prefer more that. My activities and my life rotates, especially within these two countries, by blood and by citizenship and by being a farmer, especially connected with ancient wisdom through regenerative agriculture. And this is something I've done for quite some years, I would say. And it's something I'm happy to continue with. It's something I'm happy to talk about based on the results seen, based on all the designs, and the way I see people also appreciate it today, more than the way it was 15 years ago when I actively got into this movement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jackson. So you're joining us. You're actually in the bush. So yes, there'll be bumpy spaces in our recording, but I think essentially we're getting the information because we want to hear what you're doing at Africa Amini Alama. You told me the meaning of that word. Can we please share with everyone?
Yeah, I think it's fundamentally important for me to mention that one of the projects I am currently helping coordinate is with Africa Mini Alama, but on personal levels in other capacities, I've been advising on many. One of the, or to say to begin with, Africa Amini Alama have the word Africa as Africa is a continent. Amini is a Swahili word for believe, and Alama is Swahili word for mark. So Africa Amini Alama has got the ideology of ensuring if you believe in Africa, you must leave a mark in it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Jackson. I think we'll just
Thank you.
go on and record while your network is still agreeable with us. Really appreciate the sacrifice, and it's evening for both of us. So nice that you're doing this. Can I go straight and beam your first presentation?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And we'll proceed from there. Water is food, and resilient seeds or seeds of resilience is something I really hold dearly in my heart. Just to begin with, and like you said, I'm in the bush, ancient wisdom is shared across our life. Off-grid life is kind of something that our parents also envisioned, but really trying to look at in the space of modernization and the futurism remains a very fundamental aspect. And that's why for me I value off living in the bush and so forth. I find it so nice. If you look at my background, it's plants and so forth. Interacting with nature at direct level is the same thing when we talk about food security and so forth from a farming perspective or a generative perspective, ensuring it's a living ecosystem. Now, two topics that I will dearly be willing or I'm ready to talk about. One is food as water, and the other one is about resilient seeds and how they seem like unforgotten. And to say water as food, it's important for us to just realize or ask ourselves, what is the biggest percentage or composition of earth? Is it not water? If we study plants in terms of biomass, is it not water? Our bodies, what percentage makes it quite big? Is it not water? If we talk about a farm, is water not important? If we talk about dry land, is it not water important? If we talk about food, we cannot talk about food, what we eat minus water, because If the plant itself by more than 70% needs water or contains water in its biomass, we ourselves, we are got a higher percentage of water. Planet Earth, where we are in, is of water. Then water is part of food. It's looking at it from that perspective. Then we understand, just like we say, water is life, food is important, is the same way. We cannot fight hunger without being food secure, but we can never be food secure if there's no water security. The ancient wisdom picking from our forefathers is water sovereignty was very much important. That is why they mastered the art of seasons. That is why they knew there was a god of rain. That is why they saw there was a god of rivers, of lakes, and so forth. And sometimes from my thanatological learnings and sociology, I have a feeling some of these superstitious forces did not exist, but our ancient forefathers just decided to develop stories and myths to ensure they secured the rivers, they secured the lakes, they secured the rainwater, and they secured everything, because that water was much important, just like the food on the table. If we sit down and ask ourselves, the water is not there, how would the plants survive? How would our own life be like? How would the planet Earth be like? Therefore, water is food, just to say that. And if water is food, it's more equal or more the same having resilient seeds, because there is no a better version of saying that water is food, and on one side, we don't have resilient seeds. Resilient seeds sustain water, and they really use the existing water cycle to really stay for a longer period of time, to use it effectively and support human life. Yeah. From the first photo you just shared, and now we have moved to the second one, you could quickly look at the land and see in the topsoil, it looks wet. But just to say, that is a land that has stayed nearly 4 months without rains. But the biomass on top, in terms of mulch, in terms of dry mulch from the pigeon peas and lablabs that were grown there, part of what I will be highlighting as resilient seeds and the resilient plants, they have planted water, and on top what looked is that the soil is wet. 4 months of sunny period. When you look at this photo here, we had maize mixed with sunflower, and then on the lines, or alley lines, kind of is pigeon peas, and then we had also black-eyed beans inside. And the reason is one will fix nitrogen, others are cover crops, maize is growing, and not just maize, it's about the colored maize, part of the ancient maize that societies or those who began with them from the global north have always held them dearly. And these are heirloom seeds. I have been growing them for the last 13 years since my interaction with them. I have had kind of a better harvest. It's not just those who say regenerative farming is difficult. I've seen production per acre rise from 7 bags to 38 bags in a very mixed system I have done with no synthetic inputs. But what do I do?
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
No, I was saying that's amazing, Jackson. From 7 to 33, 7 bags,
Yes.
to 33 bags.
And then it went to 37.
Wow. Over a period of how long?
This was in, it began with 7. The next season, it went to 11. It went to 17. Then from 17, 28. From 28, it went to 33, 37 in 2 years period. Because here we do 3 seasons in a year.
Yeah, that's amazing. Honestly, that's really such a beautiful story. Yeah, sure. So do I continue? Do I click the next slide? Or you want to try and click the slides on your own?
No, move on.
Okay.
Yeah. So I said the foundation of successful security in food is a foundational understanding that water is food. Without it, the crops will not grow. Human beings as ourselves will not be there, and the planet Earth is going to be empty. When you look at this system here, sometimes I call them nature's way of building water storages. In how nature will do. This is a place like not made by an excavator, but by elephants that were like dancing and so forth, and the place people moving soil. Eventually wild animals will come along, and before people came here, if I'm not wrong, this is part of the Dakacha woodland in coastal Kenya. And you see, eventually what comes in is that it rains and the water holds. There is no plastic bag down. There is absolutely nothing made from us, but the animals, when they walk there, their hooves heal, their hooves kind of in a way compact the soil, and when it rains, water holds there. My biggest question then comes in: if nature has got the audacity to design its own natural dams, all the water that is going to support domestic animals, is water not relevant? Water is practically relevant that even nature designs on its own for those who cannot speak, for those who cannot dig like us, for those who cannot design like us. Nature designs for them and does it like you're seeing in that photo. And that's the reason why nature does it, is because nature by itself realizes water is practically potent as food for these animals to survive. And I think one of the jokes I ever had is that if you think water is not life or water is not food, then minus it and see if earthworms will not die. And if earthworms die, one of their commendable work they do as soil engineers is making the micropores in the soil. If there are no micropores in the soil and releasing the good nutritious soil with a higher organic matter content, then what happens when it rains? The hard pan on top will always have the water getting washed and disappear. And think what happens if Africa or all of us in the developing countries will take hold of 5% of the rains that come, just like nature designs here. We view it just like the advocacy for food security is being done. We have the same advocacy for water sovereignty and security, and viewing water as food. Will we not improve our farming systems? Will we not improve our regeneration system? Will we not improve our agroecological activities? And will food be plenty on the farm? During COVID, one of the key things I realized with many people is that they found their lives restructured entirely. And one life was restructured entirely is we had heavy rains then in East Africa, and people did not use them. Those of us in regenerative and agroecological agriculture, we found it quite interesting because all time we were busy from one cycle to the other. I harvested the water a lot because I made kind of a dam and so forth. I was planting climbing beans, the local ones in Uganda. I was doing a lot of Lima beans. I was doing a lot of local varieties, and I was selling in the local market. I also reared the cats. One time I was named like a king of the village cats, having more than 100 cats. But I survived with, because that is what ancient wisdom will give us. It's just altering the life, and like something will slide it. When you look at this photo here, this is a farm, a food forest design I was doing in a place that was extremely dry. And this is when I wanted to plant food to design it and ensure we have got enough fruits from 1 or 2 acres. Then I brought in mukuna beans, the ones on stick. Then I planted sweet potatoes. I planted cassavas, bananas. I had avocados. I had oranges. I had different things mixed there. I think 24 species of plants were mixed there because the soil looked depleted and so forth. And from the basic soil test, water will not be held there. So water will not be food for the microbial life there, because water feeds in a way the microbial life below the soil, whom feed the plants, and the plants grow. So there was nothing absolutely there. People also ate 45 days. This was a bush, was a jungle, because the mukuna beans are perennial. They were climbing all over. Shapir grass was there. And the cassava, to me, I used something that will break the soil so that if you irrigate or it rains, the water goes that way. It's a natural filtration, a natural system to ensure that water goes underneath without you not even digging. The sweet potatoes will occupy the same place as green mulch, and with their living roots, they will really improve the microbial life because they support a lot of good fungus like the mycorrhizal fungus down there. And I think one of the fungus they support is another one that will always kind of eat stones or rocks, to use literal language. So the place improved entirely, and those who are seeing a desert 45 days or 2 or 3 months coming back, they saw a jungle, a bush. And then from there, the work of pruning, slashing, dropping, and ensuring everything, the system now looks better worked. Now, in this photo you see here is a trial design when I was also convincing my mother and my siblings that regenerative agriculture is possible. And I began it very far because I learned about conservation agriculture then when I was in high school. I trained as a dual program. I learned about natural farming from my own father and parts of permaculture. Then I did agriculture, was not like nice. And one time I also went for a media school. I diplomaed in media analysis, but that was not my passion. All my reporting was back in agriculture and environment, and eventually I shifted to that. I felt I was so nice in regenerative and agroecology. I went there fully with. So this is a design. I told my mother that it's possible to do regenerative agriculture even in dryland. When you look at the backside, one type you see is a kind of block or rocks made house, and the other one is a mud one, which I really love. I told my mom, let's try. I'm going to borrow from the three sisters of the Milpa designs of the people of Latin America. And I did now banana, cassava, turmeric, ginger. You can see aloe vera. Then I planted pumpkin, and I said, let's do it here. And what happens when my mother saw it booming up to the extent the banana is bearing in an extreme dry place where people are not accepting or believing, then she eventually started believing, removing a cassava, one plant, and getting 32 kilos in such a dry place using regenerative activities, which to me primarily recognizes water as food, was quite nice. And what is it? From this system I designed was just ensuring the little gray water from the bathroom will go down there. Yeah. And that is it. Looking beautiful.
Yeah, it's really, yeah, it's beautiful, but also, like you didn't have to fight with your family to start. You just started wherever and small. And I think there's no better way than to actually show. So this is very nice.
Yes, absolutely. So this is how the land I was speaking about, the place looks like. That is how it was. You can see dust it is. The soil is like was dead, and life has to begin from somewhere when designing things. For me, is all the designs like trying to raise and flatten the soil, make a good drainage, is to hold water properly. Water is food, needs a proper preparation because that's how it can become practically essential for that field. And this is part of it. You can look how it is, and somebody visits here, the way will see it 2 years down the line. You will see a different changed atmosphere. So, looking at it still as water is life, what you see here is heavy mulching. Planted a lot of napier grass not to feed the cows, but to do mulching. Why do I do mulch? If we are looking at food, we must ensure we preserve our food properly. Even that's why people have got fridges. That is why people also have got microwaves to warm their food. That is why people will, even those in indigenous communities would not, they will make the charcoal kind of cooler. So this is heavy mulching with napier grass that I designed and do it heavily so that I ensure the water, even when it rains, it's held down properly. There is enough moisture in the soil. Evaporation rates are controlled, and the below life is supported properly. Why do I say so? Because below life works like a kingdom. You give it water, you preserve the moisture, which is part of their like food, and when they are happy, what will they do? They will release the nutrients as a butterway. It's like, give me water, then I give you what I have. You don't give me my food, then I don't give you what food you need. The same thing happens with the plants. And making people see the napier grass or the elephant grass is important to use as a mulch, not only for animals, was not an easy case. Even telling people to plant it so forth. But eventually people start realizing I was not mad. Six months down the line, when you look the soil, you smell at it. The soil smells life. You look at their design, it looks different. You walk in that part, the temperature is naturally controlled. You look down, you can see earthworms rambling. You look at the plants, they are smiling. That's what happens when we eat foods that we love. You will see people smiling and becoming happy the same way. Water needs to be captured and stored. respectively. That is the basis of even ancient wisdom, grasses and so things to go down. But that's not what they are doing. What they are doing is that they are really trying to ensure there is no naked soil, so that when nature's food comes, water is basically covered and stored. Thank you.
Amazing.
It's more like the continuation of the other one. That's a proof that holding water or storage water naturally is not something difficult. You just have to design your systems respectively. And at one point I felt like, because I've learned quite a lot, other than little knowledge I caught from schools and so forth, reading a lot from books, YouTube. When I had the session with the Regeneration National by Dr. Andre, was like a reinforcement of the ideologies I've got. And this is viewing water as life. You must store it effectively. So still doing a lot of mulching to store what is underneath properly. And one thing to store properly is water, so that even when it's extremely dry, things will still survive. This is a drier place, but you can see bananas growing, beans are there, the other plants are coming, and people will wonder why. You harness the solar energy, you harness all the energy, the wind and so forth, but the water itself is also part of the energy cycle. And then here it's well utilized. If Africa will do this, then we will not be food insecure. We will not be crying about this. This is my realization as a part I've dealt with. And I've been here for the last 14 years and above, if I include the period of with my mother, the natural farming and so forth. So it's possible for us. One of the friends was sharing with me 2 days ago how he spends on less than $5 in a week in terms of food.
Wow.
Why? Because on his 1 acre plot, he has designed a system to feed him for nearly 1 year.
Wow.
If he wants eggs, he has poultry to pick. He is doing C2 composting. He is doing every mulching. Earthworms are there. The hens can go eat and turn the soil. The food is there, plenty harvest for the year. That's what looks at. But the basis of what he says, using less than $5 to buy foods in a week, is supported by one thing: water. He has just developed mechanisms that can hold the water in his drier place and support life, the plants, the animals, himself, increase biodiversity, wildlife. And for my belief is that if wildlife, or rather biodiversity, is happy, you will always get a precious appreciation in terms of the biodiversity services. And that token of appreciation from nature, including oxygen, is very important to support your life.
I like this word, token of appreciation from nature. It's not only just a harvest, but it's nature also giving you its joy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and the packages of life. This is such deep words and words of wisdom. So is this your plot of land, or you work here with a group of people, the ones?
Well, this is part of my land.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So that's part of the other field. I said I planted quite a lot. What you saw bare, empty and that's how it looks like 1 month away. This is a special type of vegetables in Tanzania called matembele, which is edible sweet potatoes. The leaves are edible. The tubers are not so much edible. This one is edible. So common here in Tanzania, parts of Uganda, especially ones bordering Tanzania, and also Congo and parts of Kenya. So you see what it did in just less than 45 days. It's green.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You walk there when it's extremely sunny now, 3 or 4 months when the rains have gone, you look, you just lift them. It's still wet. That's a natural way to store water. It's a natural sponge. It's how nature will do its own course. So in these ones, if what I will do most of the time is kind of slash it on top, let like drop, slash and drop. And once it goes down, it becomes like a green mulch. That is food for the soil organisms. And then new leaves come, that is we eat, then start making circular holes inside to plant more things I will need. And if I would want to change there, what will I do? I don't want to lose water. I will now introduce my crops, even if it's cucumber. Wait as they become bigger, the way I reduce what is already there until eventually they have the entire place. Yeah.
This is incredible. And so these are some of the deep well thought out lessons. I mean, you're chatting like you're reading from a book because you've interacted so much with water systems and food systems on your landscape. Why
Yeah.
has this journey been very important? What inspired you at first?
My inspiration to get back full to this and view water as life is having been born from poor family, living in semi-arid areas where food was difficult. My father struggled with the path of natural farming the majority will not undertake, and I saw how life was difficult was. And one time when we were growing up, we used to cut down trees and make charcoal to survive. This is something I've done for quite years. I've been a tout. I have done quite many things in this world to survive the pangs of hunger and life. But wherever we went to cut down trees in the forest or in the bushes, one thing I will always observe is why are things inside the bushes still thriving, looking much nicer than what we have at home? Like those ponds inside bush, inside the forest and so forth. I'll always wonder. So the curiosity is what over the years has moved on, started making me ask myself, is monkeys and baboons in bushes, vast bushes where human activities are less, they get enough food and survive? And then borrowing from the biblical talk that birds of air do not till the land, but they've got enough to eat and even maybe store for the future. Then what exactly is about us? And that is when I started looking things from the thinner perspective of how people were viewing it and said, let me try it out. Because he who does not try dies many deaths before the actual death. And
Yeah.
from my trial feed, spending my own money on small plots and doing it when everybody was thinking I was joking, this is something got me nerves because people thought I was very mad at trying to do all these designs. Eventually, led me to realization I was not wrong.
You
Reading
know.
books, watching videos, I realized I was the correct path of life from a small scaler to a large scaler because the largest project now I am helping here design is for more than 250 acres.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, Jackson. Honestly, this is amazing. And you are definitely the right person to talk about resilience based on the stories that you've shared on this platform. And honestly, you bear the story of many Africans, Most of us grew up rural, life wasn't easy, but it's amazing when life takes you to this path of discovery. And it's not for the faint-hearted, It's like you said, you watched your father struggle with trying natural farming all his life because he saw that there was an answer in there, and you took it further, and now you have piled up all these amazing practices and frameworks that have framed your own narrative and helped you get as much from the land as much as you are giving to it. So that's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we try the next slide? There is that ugali or
Yeah, that's ugali made from the heirloom maize.
wow, that's amazing. And this is the segment where you talk about the forgotten seeds and foods, yeah?
Yes, that's why I thought it's nice to show people like, look how wonderful the food is, and you think
Yeah.
it's forgotten. It's you who is forgetting it. Yeah,
So beautiful. Okay, you can go.
yeah. Well, thank you very much. Could you, if possible, have a view on the first slide because
Okay.
it's super
All right.
interesting for me. Yeah, this one.
Yes. Mhm.
I really appreciate Precious for the opportunity to talk about to look also on the context of forgotten seeds or resilient seeds, because there
Mhm.
is a very big connectivity between water as food and resilient foods. Two things go hand in hand. If we want to ensure that we are food secure even at family level, because that's how I view regenerative agriculture is for firstly for yourself, your family, your immediate community, and surplus goes to the market. That is the Asian that our fathers built life. And this is what you find on the tables of the Asian people. Ugali like this one, made from the colored heirloom maize. Somebody will think it's sorghum, but there's no sorghum here. That's super interesting. It is packed with the seeds of resilience, And also seeds, maize seeds that use little water give you bumper harvest. When I talk about seeing rain to 37 or 38 bags of maize, this is the kind of maize I'm talking about. You are getting the seeds, sun dry, return it back to the farm for all these years, and exactly you get that number of bags, and this is what you get in on the table. Is it not beautiful? If we ask ourselves, does it not look nicer than the white one?
Oh, it does. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. But it's forgotten. How many times do we see kind of ugali, this one on our table? How many?
I honestly thought it was red sorghum at first, because that would be the red sorghum in our end. If I ate gray, it'll be millet. Then there'll be the dark brown, which is the finger millet. So that looked like red sorghum. So that's amazing.
And one good thing about these seeds, they use little water, leave a lot of nutrients in the soil, naturally weed for your farm. They increase biodiversity and support wildlife, and they harness as much as solar energy in your farm. Sometimes when I was growing this maize, it was so much interesting for me after being on the computer writing up documents, walking to the farm and seeing birds fight for this maize. At times I will not wish to send them away. Well, it looks like foolish in a way, but it was also interesting for me asking myself, why are birds fighting for this colored maize and not the white ones? The secret is the nutrients inside here. The realization that these ones are using less water, but very nutritious, that nature can even tell you. So using birds or items or even creatures of nature to tell you exactly what is nice is something I've learned and observed over the years. What is really nice for yourself is what nature creatures will always go for. What doesn't look nicer for you, they will have lesser time with it. And this is it. Imagine having this on your table. How will the kids look like? The exceptionality of them in the village, in the district, in the country. It will be very wonderful. Now, if you look at these beans here, it was interesting for me to share because I began with should be less than a quarter kg. We have different types of butter beans here. Some of them are pole beans. We have the Kenya landrace variety that was discovered in Kenya in 1952 and then kind of disappeared. We have the black turtle beans, which is very generous. I would say it's one of the most generous variety, heirloom variety I've ever seen, because in terms of productivity in the farm, it's so wonderful, the black one. And all these ones are packed with the nutrients, better than even the hybrid varieties and so forth. Just imagine the one looking like a zebra with black and white strips, discovered in Kenya 1952, and then often said it's disappeared. But that one is packed with more nutrients than all other things we have here. If you look in the designs I have planted, the resilience of these beans versus the other ones, these ones will sustain even when it's extremely drier, more than the other one. That will sustain even when it's extremely drier is equivalent to tell you that one has got more nutrients than the other one. Yeah, that is a sample measure, I will say, of how Asian people look at things. And if you go to look at the density, will be more the same. If you eat that, then is the best, because the principle of perennials is very important to support systems, even when seasons do not really look nice. Often said is a poem like Joan of the Ark, Noah of the Ark, both of hard work never looked back. If we really want to move forward, we must pick things that are right. To support water as food, then we need to ensure we have got resilient seeds. Because if you've got hybridized and kind of all these things done in an unfairly way, then that one doesn't support. Now, here is an interesting story of two things: water as food and then resilient seeds. This is pigeon peas, the varieties that we started with all the years, not the modified ones. And after harvesting maize, leaving everything down, that was a dry land. That was a desert land. Look how 6 months down the line looks. You have pigeon peas there to harvest. You'll have it to feed your kids. But at the soil level, water is conserved. Microorganism, microbial life is supported. And then what do? They butter you. The pigeon peas, which is also perennial, will fix a lot of nitrogen in the soil. Is this not something that is beneficial? Yeah.
That's really amazing.
You know,
So
walking here at one time, I found it.
So this is how many months of
Yes.
dryness? The pigeon peas survive how many months after the rain? 3 months, 4 months?
No. This one can stay even for 3 years. It's up to you to decide when you want to remove it.
Wow.
Because after rain, you take 7 to 9 months before you harvest it.
Yeah.
And all this period, it remains green even when it's extremely dry.
Wow.
It sheds off the leaves, and the leaves go down, they cover the soil. They feed the microbial life, and they support everything there. Yeah. This is an interesting story. During my life of COVID, I got heirloom seeds of tomatoes from different parts of Africa. I think some of them had got from the dry parts of South Africa, Latin America, Africa. The small ones are cherry tomatoes are collected from the world. And since I love gardening, I decided to do things on my own. You know, these are not sprayed with chemicals and so forth. And my tomatoes grew tall, nearly 11 feet high, behind the house. So one time I said, let me make the harvest. I made the harvest. This is a photo I took, and I said I'm going to keep it for remembrance, because I'd harvested the tomatoes, most of them, I think, nearly 4 to 5 months. And then I kept asking myself, if I can harvest with the diversity of this type of heirloom tomatoes, that tells you of resilient seeds, I'm harvesting for that longer period, does it not mean that I cannot live in a farm tomatoes from the market? This should tell us food security is not in top of those books. Food security is not in the market. Food security is not in school. Food security is about me doing what is rightly, working with nature and consulting nature where it's possible, and doing it even when everybody thinks it's impossible, but nature says it's possible. This is what you get.
Those are incredible tomatoes, actually.
This is so much incredible. Up to date, I still grow them and I love them. This is a green wall made from the resilient seeds. These are the giant lima beans, different varieties. I think 3 or 4 of them. That we have like the zebra kind of. We have the brown speckled and so forth. And looking there, you'll also see some old type of purples I brought and planted there, a Napier. And I say, let me have a green wall that supports biodiversity, wildlife, and everything. That's how it looks. I will get my seeds, other things will grow. And this is what should tell people, weeds are nature's messenger that communicate to you about your soil and your ecosystem. If even other plants I did not plant, they grew up and they have really looked nice with even the beans, then they are supporting life. That's what should tell you they are supporting the seeds that you have. This is part of the cherry tomatoes, different colors. I made the harvest of, and on the back there, poorly managed the strawberries, because planted, not taken care of, but you walk in the farm, you'll get all these type of things to eat and share with the kids.
Strawberries, they look amazing.
Exactly, and that's what we should have in our food system. These are queen's nut. You know,
what do you use it
they
for?
are climbers. The plant itself is a vine and a climber. You break the nuts, you eat the flesh inside. You can also make a lot of oil from it.
Oh, nice.
And when it grows on top of trees, it makes like an umbrella. It's such an amazing type of plant and seeds.
Yeah.
I really like them, because my encounter first of time was with the indigenous people of Uganda, in Tanzania, and I decided to grow them. One can give you a lot of seeds. That is the lima beans, still harvested. Began with the 8 seeds, now with more than 100 kilos.
Oh.
Yeah, that's part of the colored maize. Look how it looks.
Beautiful.
You know, it's beautiful, and that's what you tell. Resilient seeds look that way. They are much more beautiful in their nature's divide. And that is chemical free, is without synthetic. Look at the cobs, look how the seed is, look at the kernels. It tells of a story of how working with the nature is possible. Now, imagine that's what you make your food from. If Africa would go for this maize, my realization of these seeds is that when we have heavy rains, it will give 3 cobs, 2 cobs. But when there is no heavy rains, then it will give you up to 1 cob. But when you say about it exactly, that's still the same beautiful land how it was before worked on. Yeah, we can move to the
what
next
you
slide.
have made it now. Wow,
Yeah.
that's so beautiful. I know we're just now enjoying to see your beautiful land again.
Yeah, this is something I wanted to mention. Like, it looks very beautiful for me that the Asian people of Africa did not look at it, or even the global south or whatever different community did not look at it in one way. Now, water as food, they have harvested the water they are using such designs like chinampans or waruwarus, and you see making proper drainage that take hold of the water, and then they're growing things on the besides. I have done this kind of floating garden, or I call them floating gardens or sponge gardens in Uganda. And with the rain of one season, I think I planted maize times. The rains were over. I did my maize second time I harvested, and then I did the third round with the same water in such a design before it nearly got over. If that's what then the people in dry areas would go for, how much water can they harvest in such a design? How beautiful will it be, seeing an oasis of life in such an area? And these are things that are possible because I have done them at a trial base as a person, scaling them in a small scale, or doing them in 2 or 3 acres and so forth. And life is supported throughout. Yeah, sure. That's also such a design. Yeah, look how beautiful it is. Key things much as the next first year is to do was doing properly mulching. So there's no any design that is simple. Resilient seeds really love these designs. Why? Because in one way they feel appreciated. And as I said, if you appreciate nature and its nature-based designs in agriculture, in terms of food security, nature will always offer back a token of appreciation. This is a fundamental truth I have come to learn. That was on my table. Sometimes to wake up and look at it, it feels so beautiful to have that kind of seeds on the table. They tell of a story of possibility. Yeah, look at that. And that's a design also to prove how you can do companion farming, mixing different crops here and there, having papayas, vegetable, and so forth. Leeks and all these things. One thing you really see even in the farthest end where the pawpaw tree is mulching. Resilient seeds, perennial plants will always also naturally, if you observe them, shed a lot of leaves to go down. And those leaves decompose to form the next layer of soil. Is the same thing. You either wait or you do it yourself as mulching. Because if seeds planted and then they become plants, naturally they shed leaves to form dry mulch in better soil. You as a human being, why can you not learn that? That's part of the story with the leaves, yeah, in a dryer.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's beautiful looking at them, how you can start a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this has been amazing. This is the end of our 2 slides. Thank you so much, Jackson,
thank you very
for
much.
sharing all this wisdom. What message do you have to say to the people on World Food Day?
I think I will say without water, food systems collapse. And if food systems collapse, then there is no food for everybody. Looking at from the perspective that water is food, that tells us that even if you live in a dry area, conserving that water is support life in your, and more so your own life in a design that is possible. And with finality to say is there is no any impossibility in the world. It only exists in the dictionary of fools. All try the ancient ways, look them in the age of science, and you'll realize it's possible. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. This was so beautiful and so generously offered. So late on our time zone, but honestly, happy World Food Day and congratulations on all your work, Jackson. Where can people find you? Are you on social media? Are you,
I am on social media. If you go to LinkedIn, look for Jackson Kithokilo, you'll find me. I really wish to appreciate you, Precious, and Regeneration International for the opportunity for me to participate in, or rather share my story in advocacy for possible and appropriate food security, viewing water as food, and ensuring resilient seeds in resilience seeds are put on the table or in a farm, and not only supporting us, but supporting Mother Nature and so forth. It feels so proud with me that my story is not only touching my mother, my siblings, the community I have worked or I work with, and those I endeavor to work with, but is now shaping or is really going to motivate somebody who's like giving up somewhere else in any part of the globe and say it's possible. Wake up and try. Bingo. Thank you.
Thank you, bingo.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sanchez.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our other installation for the African segment of the People's Food Summit. I'm here with a young lady, the brightness of our future. Her name is Farirai Jemwa. She's absolutely a youth who is making waves in Zimbabwe through a national network called PELUM. She's currently a programs officer. Fari, you will tell us what PELUM means in the end, or when you start to speak. She's been playing a key role in advancing agroecological entrepreneurship, as well as strengthening traditional grain markets and fostering youth and women engagement in agroecology and eventually sustainability of farmers. So her role, she really leads support and capacity building initiatives for farmers. We have had a great privilege of working with Fari through our local partner, Igugu Trust here in Zimbabwe. She truly is a trailblazer. And yesterday, I did speak to someone, a man named Simon Kramer, who said he believes without a doubt that women, youth, and regenerative practices are the future of our regenerated world. So that couldn't be truer. I'm very happy to be here with you, Fari. Say hi to the people. Tell us more about yourself.
Okay. Thank you so much for such a beautiful intro. Hello, everyone. My name is Farirai Felicity Jemwa. I am currently the programs officer for PELUM Zimbabwe. I also resonate with what you said about the youth, the women, and regenerative agriculture being the future. But I also like to add that the future is now, the future is present, and it is our time to also take that mantle and run with it. So I have been in the field of environment for the past 3-5 years. I have a background in natural resources management. I did my bachelor's degree at Mbenya University, and currently I am also doing a master's in climate change and food systems at the University of Zimbabwe, where I'm also interested in carrying out a research on participatory action research and how it can be used as an adaptive method to climate change issues. So that's all I can say about me. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So maybe we can dive into your sharing about PELUM. We smile a lot. It's all tweet on this recording. So I'm going to add your presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So PELUM Zimbabwe basically means Participatory Ecological Land Use Management. It is a network organization that is made up of 42 member organizations all around Zimbabwe. It was established in 1995 and currently in 14 other countries regionally. So the aim for PELUM Zimbabwe right now is to cover all African countries so that we have agroecology, the agroecology movement diversified and increased in the countries. Our mission aim mainly is to make choices that are towards an improved quality of life that is socially, economically, and ecologically viable, with the vision of upscaling participatory ecological land use management. Our main objectives is on agroecology, and we aim to increase the understanding and influence of agroecology in our country through strengthening multi-stakeholder district level community engagements, also working with the government and policymakers. We also aim to build and deepen our consciousness, skills, and collective capacity for transformative agroecology in Zimbabwe, and to create and deepen awareness of transformative agroecology in Zimbabwe. Most people would ask, why agroecology? It is because our country now has been ravished by the negative issues on conventional agriculture, monoculture, conservation farming, has been some of the issues that have been causing disarray in our country. And because of that, agroecology offers a solution to that through holistic farming, and also incorporating our past cultural and traditional knowledge into how we farm. We're also incorporating the environment at the same time. So agroecology is a holistic approach to how we farm, also taking into cognizance the issue that the environment, our nature also requires us to take care of it. So PELUM Zimbabwe, as I have said before, is a network organization made up of 42 organizations. For one, in order to be part of PELUM Zimbabwe, they'll have to submit a letter of interest together with their strategic direction and their constitution to the PELUM Zimbabwe Secretariat. Another thing to note is the PELUM Zimbabwe Secretariat is only made up of a very few people. And we currently have 4 joint learning programs, which we aim to do together with our member organizations. So PELUM Zimbabwe aims to complement the current work that our organizations are doing. We do not create programs, but rather work with the already existing projects and programs that our organizations are doing. So currently we have the Zimbabwe Seed Sovereignty Program, the Participatory Action Research Program, the Markets and African Agroecological Entrepreneurs Program, and the Holistic Land. Our main the first program that I want to discuss about is the Holistic Land and Livestock Management Program, which currently is in 7 districts in Zimbabwe, and also working with 7 organizations. So the Holistic Land and Livestock Management Program is an agroecological approach that integrates the management of land, soil, crops, and livestock in a way that is ecologically sustainable, socially responsible, and it focuses on the interconnectedness of natural resources and the role of livestock in regenerating ecosystems rather than treating them as separate production entities. So the focus mainly is on 3 aspects, that is land, livestock, and the environment, with the goal to enhance community skills and knowledge in sustainable land management through training, practical application, and learning exchanges. Our approach mainly as PELUM Zimbabwe is that we aim to capacitate our smallholder farmers on aspects on holistic land and livestock management. So for example, most of the we aim to train them, or also create learning exchange visas for our smallholder farmers so that they're also able to have awareness and knowledge on the aspects of holistic land and livestock management. We also work with different organizations that are also trained in the aspects of holistic land and livestock management, one of them being Igugu Trust, the other being Africa Center for Holistic Management. So our project benefits through this is biodiversity restoration, which we aim to enhance both plant and animal diversity in the ecosystem, soil fertility improvement, which aims to boost soil health in rangelands and crop fields, water infiltration enhancement, which aims to increase water absorption and improves water tables and cycles, and desertification reversal, which is another issue that we're battling with in climate change. We also aim to include our community cohesion, which fosters a sense of connection within the land and the collective common, animal health improvement, enhancement, and food and nutrition security, which is another aspect that we also cover on our joint learning program. Our achievement through this program, we've been able to deepen the joint learning program and also diversify it within our organizations and our communities. So currently, as we're working with 7 organizations, we have 4 other organizations that are also interested and are also implementing this holistic land and livestock management within their communities. One of instance is Musorom Chena Skills Foundation, which is in Makonde district, close to Chinoi, that through the learning exchange visits, the trainings that we've done, they've been able to learn from that and also carry out that in their communities. We've also been able to curb biodiversity loss and desertification in communities. One example is Chinyika Community Development Trust, where through practicing holistic land and livestock management, they've been able to regenerate and revitalize their water table. And there is one river, the Deure River, that has now been able to get some water through the holistic land and livestock management program. So another thing to also note is PELUM Zimbabwe is guided by the principles of effectiveness. So each joint learning program has its own principle of effectiveness, which aims to guide and that we are also align with the work that we're doing. We have been able to create case studies that have been documenting regenerative work being done by the program partners. So these are some of the pictures of the work that we've been doing together with our organizations. This is the Shashe Agroecology Center of Excellence in Masvingo, Mashawa region. We also have more on the trust where we're also able to dream what it would be looking like in our communities if we were to train and practice holistic land and livestock management. We also have Igugu Trust, where they have successfully regenerated their lands, and kudos to you, Precious Spirit. And Africa Center for Holistic Management. And then the second program that we're working with, joint learning program, is the Zimbabwe Seed Sovereignty Program, where currently we're working with 16 organizations in 10 districts. So the Zimbabwe Seed Sovereignty Program was a collaborative initiative which was launched in 2014 by 7 Zimbabwe civil society organizations. It has grown to 16 over the years. As each phase, we introduce more members who are also aiming to learn and be capacitated on seed sovereignty. So currently we have I will not name most of them, but Zimsoft, Tsuro Trust, Select, FPC, and Fatigue are the main forerunners of this program. So for activities with the joint learning program, what we aim to do is to empower our farmers and strengthen the capacity of them to manage their own seed systems, to promote agroecology and encourage sustainable agricultural practices that are environmentally friendly and culturally appropriate. We also aim to advocate for policy change, influence national and regional policies to support seed sovereignty and protect farmers' rights. These are some of the activities that we've been doing that aim to complement our objectives. One of it being the National Food and Seed Festival that we hold every year in September here in Harare. But before then, we also hold district festivals in various in Zimbabwe. Currently, this year we held 8 district festivals, which also aim to bring up the capacity of our farmers to also be proud of their heritage and proud of their seed, which is also the underlying theme of this year. We also promote agroecology practices through practicing farmer-managed seed systems and agroecology within the PELUM Zimbabwe network with also our smallholder farmers. Together with that, we have the seed and agroecology trainings, where we find trainers or organizations that already have the knowledge on seed and also help them to train or have them assist us on training our farmers. We have also have strategic partners such as the Community Technology Development Organization that aims to that also capacitated our farmers on seed selection, seed saving, and seed storage, which is something that is so crucial in having our farmers being seed sovereign. Also, the Zimbabwe Seed Sovereign Program also do learning exchange visits, which aims also to bring the knowledge and capacity on our farmers. So this joint learning program has facilitated the revival of indigenous seeds, varieties such as those from Bikita, which are resilient to droughts and floods. One of it being Soboda, the barnyard millet, which we also used as our flagship theme for the 2023 National Seed Festival. Here is a picture of a policy brief that we have developed to also as a part of advocacy, which you have also shared with the government and the African Union, which it's on the developing a sui generis system of recognizing, protecting, and promoting farmer seed varieties. And these are some of also the principles of effectiveness that guide our Zimbabwe Seed Sovereignty Program, some of which aim to be farmer-led. That is, we want all our programs and projects to be to have farmer and be the ones that also make the decisions. We also are strengthening sustainable practices, collaboration between the farmer and the government, the farmer and the non-governmental organizations, to only name a few, and inclusivity, we're also ensuring access to open pollinated varieties and traditional seed of high quality by marginalized and vulnerable people. And then the third joint learning program being the African Women Leaders
So
in Agriculture.
before you continue,
Yes.
when we step back to the Zimbabwe Seed Sovereignty Program, I just wanted to really acknowledge that it's a really, really helpful program in capacitating farmers, because we had some farmers from us going to learn how to make bio fermented fertilizers, going to learn how to be seed keepers, harvesters, and multipliers. And like farmers are now able to scan through the community and help them do a seed inventory. Which are those forgotten seeds, which ones are the stigmatized seeds, things like that. So it's really it's a beautiful program, I just wanted to say. And for us personally, it's brought lots of growth. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, we also brought in another point on how we aim to use already existing resources that we have within our community to utilize them when farming. So, for example, the biofertilizers that we have been creating, none of the products that we have are actually bought. Rather, we use the products and the produce that we have within our community to work with them. So, what we aim to do is to ensure that our farmers are also resource secure and also maintain and attain food security within their homes. Ensuring also that they do not have a lot of funds that they fork out to buy some of the fertilizers or the resources. So the African Women Leaders in Agroecological Initiative is an initiative that was brought upon as a way of promoting women who are within the agroecology sector. It is a leadership career development that was created by PELUM Kenya Network together with PELUM Zimbabwe and PELUM Uganda in 2023, which envisions strengthening leadership and the active participation and women in agroecology institutions. Currently now we're growing to more countries where we've also reached out to Malawi and Nigeria also, so that we also work with them and bring up more women leaders within the community. Awola offers mentorship programs to women that are also up and coming, who also want to know more about agroecology and want to find their way and their path within that. So we find women that already are in the existing agroecology sector, the captains of the industry who already have knowledge on agroecology. It can be directors, the managing directors, the programs officers, the coordinators, or rather a lead farmer who already has knowledge, and we pair them up with someone who's also wanting to know more or learn more about agroecology. once we pair them with someone who has the skills that they require, it goes on to a 1-year program through virtual and or face-to-face sessions where they are led on their path on whatever they want to learn more about. So through Awola, mentees and mentors are being supported to participate also in structured learning to build up on agroecology and leadership knowledge base. So the activities within the Awola are monthly meetings, supporting incubation of women enterprises through startups or expansions of ideas, monthly motivational experience sharing for women on leadership and career development at country level, and supporting meetings within the greater global. And then also participation of women in national, regional, and continental international forums for policy influencing. So we also create publications on women also talking about their stories, what has impacted them, what is working for them, and how we can also help them as the PELUM Zimbabwe network and other organizations that we work with. These are some of the activities that we've done. For example, the mentorship talks that we've been doing. We also have been able to go to different countries to also showcase our projects and the work that the women have been doing. One case of instance is Tanyara Swamsariri, who has successfully developed a website rather, for women entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe, and also linking them with markets in Zimbabwe. So what it does is it's kind of a delivery of sorts for the produce and products of agroecological produce and products, and find the available markets for them to actually share and sell to. We also have the My Food is African campaign, which is housed under the Zimbabwe Seed Sovereignty Program. This was launched to raise awareness and drive action around traditional and non-traditional foods grown sustainably. It aims to also influence the greater civilians on the importance of eating healthy and cooking and growing healthy. So through this campaign, there's been an alliance that has been created, which brings together farmers, community stakeholder organizations, governments, donors, and private sector together to create working groups that aim to complement the work that is already happening. So, for example, we have a working group on young people that aims to find out what it is that the youth are doing, how we can tap into that, and also influence the consumption of traditional foods. We also have influencing market, where we know that the only way we sell our traditional food and also have people understand it is also to influence our markets. Our outcomes is increased preference for healthy, culturally appropriate foods, and establish a effective network of food system actors, and push for adaptation and adoption of favorable food policies nationally and regionally. So this My Food is African campaign has also aided in the National Seed Festival, where the food component is promoting the consumption of healthy traditional food. And then we have the farmer-led research for agroecological transformation in Zimbabwe, which is one of our other joint learning program. We have seen it as a problem an issue that most of the research that has been created is mainly conventional research and not farmer-centric. So this project aims to capacitate our farmers and also to create research through our farmers, and how they can also find ways on adaptation and mitigation strategies on climate change. So it is an approach in which community members, researchers, and other stakeholders actively through out the research process. Unlike traditional research, which is often done on communities, PAR is research with and by the community, emphasizing participation, co-learning, and action. So our core principles of PAR are participation, action-oriented, whereby the research is conducted to solve real-world problems and drive positive change in communities. Reflection and learning being our third core principle, and empowerment of the communities to gain knowledge, skills, and decision-making to improve their own lives. We currently have we're currently working with 6 organizations and with one technical institution, that is the University of Zimbabwe, also guides on this research aspect. The project objectives are to promote effective agroecological practices, build farmer research capacity, especially of the women and the youth, integrate indigenous knowledge systems into innovation, and influence agroecology supportive policy frameworks. The thematic areas are agroecological practice, climate resilience, and seed sovereignty, and last but not least, livestock and pasture. The methodology, as I had also earlier reflected on, is that we have farmer-led experimentation, whereby farmers are leading the experiment and finding ways in which it will work for them, and also in promoting community data collection and knowledge sharing. Last but not least, we have the African Agroecological Entrepreneurship and Territorial Markets project, which, by definition, the African Agroecological Entrepreneurship is an agricultural business strategy on increasing value for society, the environment, and the capacity of business. And the main aim of this project and program is to also influence our markets and territorial markets on eating and buying agroecological products, which is also healthy, and also healthy to the environment and healthy to the person. We are guided by the 13 principles of agroecology into this project, which I will not name, but the main aim is that the entrepreneurs, in order for them to become one, or rather the characteristics of one, is that they're also able to practice at least 5 of those principles. We also have the territorial markets, which are an area where they are mass markets, markets that also influence, and big markets that also influence the community and the greater civilians. So the territorial markets, including pandemics and conflicts, call to promote local food production, short supply chains, and a greater degree of self-sufficiency. Smallholders find it also relatively difficult to access and benefit from local, national, and regional markets because of barriers to finance, infrastructure, and appropriate technology. So characteristics of territorial markets are: they are legal to varying degrees or have same links to the relevant public bodies in the state. They also operate according to a set of commonly shared rules that are negotiated between producers, consumers, and the different authorities. They're also circular, and they're also solidarity economy. The goal of this project is to harness the contribution of the AAEs and the TMs in the transition to agroecology, with the expected outcomes to equip AAEs and TMs in appropriate information and data, to strengthen and to improve their skill sets and develop professional operations, and to create a vibrant network between the AAEs and TMs, and also a favorable policy environment. Our project also work with our funder, Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa, who also is working with the same projects in different various rich countries in the region. We're also creating evidence-based advocacy at continental level, also including the African Union. So our key actions is to create policies that are also friendly to the AAEs and the TMs. We also aim to create research and documentation and disseminate it to the different various stakeholders. We also are aiming to create markets for the agroecological entrepreneurs, and also help them develop agroecological business cases. We're also building the capacity of the agroecological entrepreneurs in creating a viable business for them that is also market friendly and profitable. Some of the courses or help that we've done is help them in business management and accessing to finance. We also help with networking and convenings, which aims to create a linkage between the agroecological entrepreneurs and the investors. One of such activities are the youth summits that have been done in Ethiopia, country-level agroecological dialogues, and continental convenings that we also had last year together with 34 other countries in the region. Yes. And then the impact is a movement of agroecology entrepreneurs and territorial markets in Africa championing the transition to agroecology. And with that, I would also like to thank you for listening to my presentation. I also open for questions.
Thanks, Fari. This is really amazing. Yeah, so I guess I wanted to sort of check to say from the initiatives, especially on the territorial market, because the greatest concern is access to where farmers can then have a sound entrepreneurial access. How have you been finding it, and what are some of the big surprises that you have seen through this initiative?
Sorry, I wasn't able to hear your entire question. Can you kindly ask it
Okay,
again?
all right. No, I was saying, given the territorial markets and I mean the targeted outcomes for the project, how has it been progressing? How do you guys feel about it? And what are some of the surprises that you are seeing in trying to initiate stability in farmers accessing markets?
Okay, thank you. So currently we have some success, especially with the territorial markets. Our one aim is to create an agroecological produce section within the territorial markets where we also have certified produce being sold. So, for example, the Nedzwa Farmers Market is one success story where we've been able to do that. But the one impediment, rather, is that there is a big uptake of conventional agriculture, and it's really difficult for farmers, rather, to understand and practice agroecology. So now we are fighting against the issue of conventional agriculture and ensuring that farmers and the greater people also have an understanding of healthy produce and agroecology. So most markets now rather are also inputting and producing chemical projects that are genetically modified, rather, I would like to say, and that are also a detriment to our health. So that is one of the challenges that we're facing, and we're also working on to find a solution on.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for highlighting that, because that was going to be my next point to say, how do we, yeah, I mean, is there value that farmers are also obtaining for growing agroecologically? It doesn't seem like our consumers are appreciating the difference. And we also really appreciate the structures that you guys have put in place. You know, the people's the festivals, the district festivals, and of course the market strategy is putting in place massive communication platforms for people to really start seeing the value of agroecologically grown food. I think it's one of our biggest challenges to say people are not finding value, and therefore they are not going to pay. They're not going to pay for it.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
I once, yeah, and sometimes farmers themselves, because we've done it for such a long time, we're not able to express the story of how important what we produce is. Uh, Honestly, thank you, because it's also very tough territory, you know, to try and introduce this mindset shift.
Yes, it
Uh,
is.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I mean, also just to dig
Yeah.
into, yeah, go, do you have a comment?
So, oh, yeah, no, I was agreeing with what you're saying, that
Okay.
the market is already established, and
Yeah.
people already have an understanding of what it is that they want to buy. If it's a big red tomato, that is what they're looking for. If now we have to look for something that is organic or how it was farmed, that is really not their issue. So there's a need to conscientize our people that it's really important to look for something that is healthy, because in the long run, we are the ones that are going to suffer after eating this unhealthy produce. And also,
Yeah.
I also wanted to add on that that is what we're trying to do in all our joint learning programs, because they all somehow aim to complement the other work. We have the agroecological markets on the other, where we're creating markets. We have the National Festival on the other side under the Zimbabwe Seed Sovereignty Program, where we're bringing the people into seeing what it is and how we can actually cook the healthy organic food, and what it is that you can actually make from millets rather than the normal sadza. So it's now creating linkages and aiming to conscientize our community and our people.
Yeah, this has been incredible. I really like the example of a red,
Yeah.
juicy, perfect, rounded tomato.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you're going to crush it anyways. But so there's a
Exactly.
thing that we always joke about when we're doing, like, especially now towards cropping, because that's when we really also intensify on talking about how we farm, use of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides and all that. There's a thing that I've enjoyed using. I always say, yeah, if you people love to buy vegetables that don't have holes in them, showing that no insect has eaten them. Okay, they're not eaten by insects because a chemical was sprayed on them. So my question is always, if
Exactly.
insects can't stand it, do you think your body can stand it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, it's another thing about perfectionism, where I think grown to understand that in order to be perfect, you need to not have blemishes. So now we're also entering it into our foods, that our food needs to be perfect and round without no red doors or whatever. And that really has affected us in a great way, because I will not get into the shop and buy something that is affected by pests. That is also something that we need to look into, what you're saying on why is the pest not there? Why is it not there? Why are they running away from the chemicals? And why can't you not see that it's going to be unhealthy for you?
yeah, exactly. Farid, thank you so much. Because this is a World Food Day recording, what do you have to say to other youths? By the way, Farid is really young and she's got so much wisdom. She is a mover and a shaker. So, really, just say your final words as we close.
Okay, thank you. I would like to say to the youth that this is our chance to shine. Do not give up. We are actually starting right now, and this is our only time that we can show the world our power and our strength. And no matter what life gives back to us, we need to continue to fight. We are in a war, and we need to continue living the movement and continue with the fight. So keep up the good work, whatever you're doing. You're doing great, and you should be proud of yourself. So thank you so
Oh,
much.
thanks, Barry. Oh, also on behalf of the youth and the women, thank you. I'm not sure about the youthful part, but
Yes.
the women, yes. But no, thank you so much.
Yes.
Really incredible.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate your presence
Bye.
here today. Bye.
In several regions, many farmers consider bushes and shrubs in and around their fields as weeds and cut them down, not knowing the many benefits. But farmers in the semi-arid Sahel of West Africa have a long tradition of sparing native trees and shrubs in their fields. The trees help to retain water in the soil, reduce soil temperature, and protect the soil from wind and water erosion. Trees also enrich the soil and improve soil structure, especially where the soil is compacted. Trees have become increasingly important, especially as the disturbance of our climate is causing extreme heat, drought, floods, and loss of soil. Providing a steady supply of food, medicine, wood, and animal fodder, many trees serve multiple purposes for farm families.
The first thing is the flesh of the shea nuts. The child who eats it is full. People buy the butter for consumption, to make soap, and to treat children when their airwaves are blocked.
However, the increasing population has led to the overuse and excessive cutting of these traditional agroforestry trees. So, they are declining quickly across West Africa. Let us see how farmers in Burkina Faso have begun to conserve and use trees and bushes in a new way to improve their soils and boost crop yields. While bushes used to be burned to clear the land, farmers have come to realize that keeping them alive is a better way to get a good crop yield.
If you look closely, you will see that these millet leaves are thick, which is great. This is because of the pelostigma leaves that cover the soil. If you look over there, you will know that there are no trees. Areas where leaves are present and where they are missing don't have the same strengths.
Neem trees produce abundant leaves, so you can use their prunings as mulch to conserve and improve soil fertility. A soil covered by mulch is less prone to be washed away under torrential rains. Mulch also protects the soil from the harsh sun and reduces soil temperature, which is good for the living organisms in the soil.
When we harvest our crops, we leave the stubble. Around the stubble of old crops, termites can be found, and the soil becomes soft. Even if it's a dry place, termites make the soil soft. If you spread the leaves and the ants and termites are there, it benefits the soil. When we cut the branches of shrubs like pelostigma, we spread them in the field. There where you put them, termites will thrive. You will see the difference with dry, bare soil. Where the leaves have been spread, the yields will be better.
When mulch decomposes, it adds nutrients to the soil. Mulching also improves the level of organic matter or carbon in the soil. This leads to more stable soil particles and more pores, so the soil can conserve moisture better. Highly degraded soils are often acidic, which restricts the availability of nutrients to crops. Mulching has a positive effect on soil pH. It makes soil less acidic and more neutral, which is better for crops. Now that we have learned about the various benefits of mulching, let us see how you can identify the most suitable plants that can be used as mulch. Discuss in a group what types of shrubs grow well in your area and how they regenerate after cutting and how they spread. Be aware that each type of plant responds differently to frequent cutting of branches, making sure you never kill any shrub or tree.
We cut Pilostigma, neem and gira to spread on the soil, but we don't put branches of African grape, shea or other trees on it.
Shrubs that quickly generate new shoots are ideal as a source of mulch, as you can harvest fresh shoots every year. Talk with fellow farmers from your own and neighboring villages to find out which local plants are best suited to maintain and restore soil fertility. Whether in your field or a fallow land, you can put a physical fence around bushes and young tree saplings to protect them from grazing animals until they are sufficiently strong. In Burkina Faso, farmers realize that the seeds of native bushes germinate well when they have gone through the stomach of animals.
After grazing, the animals defecate and we collect the dung. When it rains, we spread the dung on the field and plow the field with the bullocks. Many plants will grow there because of the different fruits the animals have eaten.
If you want more woody plants spread across your field, you can also establish Z-pits. Fill these small and shallow planting pits with a handful of manure. Establish a good environment for trees and shrubs to thrive, such as stone lines and contour bands on slopy land. These allow for rainwater infiltration, and within a few years, you will see various woody plants that have established themselves spontaneously. Protect trees and bushes that spontaneously spread in the fields from wandering animals. Now that we have learned how to identify the most suitable local shrubs and trees and how to encourage their growth, let us take a close look at how to apply mulch. Start to collect mulch towards the end of the dry season before the rain starts. Collect biomass from bush and non-protected trees in your village and even further away and bring it to your field.
If we have Pilostigma, we don't cut the whole plant and the root. We prune it. If you cut it with the main root and the rain comes, it can rot. No, don't cut it like that. Just remove part of it. So next year, you'll still have Pilostigma in your field. You can add extra leaves of gira. If need be, look elsewhere for it.
Only selectively cut or prune the shrubs and trees, so there always remain enough branches to allow the plants to grow well. Young shoots of less than 1 year decompose faster than older branches. Depending on their abundance, you can combine the branches and leaves of different trees and shrubs, as each will decompose differently and contain different types and amount of nutrients. Apply the mulch to your field 1 to 2 weeks before sowing. If you only have limited access to local plants, you can place whatever mulch you have in the most degraded parts of your field.
In some places, if you don't manage the soil, you can't work in it. So we cut and pile the Pilostigma branches in one place, then spread it when it rains to soften the soil. If you sow without fertilizer and the leaves, you won't harvest anything. So the youngsters are helping us cut and power the pelostigma here. The soil softens when it rains, enabling us to plant.
If there are strong winds, you can prevent the mulch from blowing away by using branches or by adding some soil on top of the mulch. At planting, gently move the mulch aside when inserting the seed in the planting hole. The mulch will help to keep the soil moist, so the seedlings of your crop will grow well. The seedlings can easily push their way through the mulch. As the mulch slowly decomposes, it releases nutrients to the crop, which will grow more vigorous and healthy. Let us review what we have learned. Mulch from local trees and shrubs protects the soil from the harsh sun and reduces soil temperature, which is good for living organisms in your soil. Only selectively prune the shrubs and trees, so they always remain enough branches to allow the plants to grow well. Apply the mulch to your field 1 to 2 weeks before sowing. Gently move the mulch aside when inserting the seed in the planting hole. By conserving local trees and shrubs and using them as mulch, your crops will grow more vigorous and healthy.